Welcome to the post-apocalypse. It's me, your host, one of the only survivors.
The post-apocalypse podcast?
Yeah, post-a-podcast.
Post-podcast. All right.
So, as an intro today, we're going to talk about the event.
So, we got shook by a big old storm.
Yeah. A tornado touched down rather close to this town, and
Gave us all a good fright.
everything's just gone. Not gone.
We're in a field of destruction right now.
Our town was hit pretty bad. It was all over the news, well, the Minnesota news, and we're in a state of emergency right now.
Are we?
Yeah, we were yesterday. We might still be. Half the town's without electricity still. And this tornado hit 2 days ago. And lots of trees in lots of homes.
Hey, yeah, no. The tree in my backyard
Yeah?
is missing about half the tree.
Yeah, fair enough. Everywhere you go, there are trees down, there are homes damaged.
We had an American flag laying in our backyard, and we're like, oh no, the American flag off the side of our house got ripped, and now it's in our yard.
But it was
we
probably
picked it
from
up.
a neighbor like 3 miles away.
We picked it up, and we looked over, and our American flag is fine.
Yeah, so somebody's American flag ended up in your yard.
So if you're missing half an American flag...
Yeah. And the reason this is a unusual occurrence is we live in a town where tornadoes don't hit here. Geographically, it's kind of tornado proof. So this is the strongest storm I've ever seen. This is the most damage I've ever seen. The house I used to live in, a big tree fell right on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about that?
I drove past it and I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Look at that.
So, yeah, it's interesting. The area we're in has lots of trees. There wasn't a lot of direct wind damage. Well, there's, if you head to the other side of town, there's buildings that had their roofs ripped off. But,
Really?
yeah, other than that.
I haven't even gone to that other side.
Well,
of town yet.
there's like the big storage buildings on the other side of town. And they have like the aluminum roofs, and some of them, like, just big sections of them are just missing.
Wow.
So, and there was a farm near us that was actually completely leveled.
I have heard of that one. Yeah.
So, yeah, this type of thing geographically doesn't really happen to us, despite the fact that we're in southern Minnesota and technically in Tornado Alley. But it usually misses us. So it's a big deal.
It's because we got two rivers converging.
Yeah, and we're kind of in a valley, and it's, yeah.
So it's uncommon.
Yeah, a lot of the residents are saying it's like the worst damage they've ever seen, and they've been here like 50 years, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was your story? How did that night go for you?
Well, that night, I heard the tornado sirens going off, and the first thought was, oh, they're just testing them. Because they test them so frequently that it's like a boy who cried wolf scenario. And I looked outside, and it's kind of dark, and then all of our phones simultaneously got the tornado warning alert on them, and we're like, oh, okay, so it's like a real thing. And when this was all happening, it looked pretty calm outside, like no wind or anything, and then it just hit. And I looked outside, I saw the rotation, and I was like, oh boy. I heard, it's funny, I didn't hear till the next day that there was a touchdown, but I knew there was because I heard it. I know I heard a tornado touchdown because it's unlike anything I've ever heard before. You know, people say it sounds like a freight train, and that's absolutely true. I went outside and I thought it was thunder, but then I realized it was like a sustained like roaring coming from the distance, and I was like, this is bad. And then so we got chairs in the kitchen over here, and we just kind of stayed there because we don't have a basement. We just kind of stayed near the most central part of the house and stayed away from all the windows. And
I suppose, yeah. I didn't think about that in here.
Yeah. So that's like the most stormproof area, even though it's completely not stormproof. So,
yeah.
And then we took a drive around town just to see how bad. Well, initially we like walked outside and we're like, oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. There was a one of our neighbors got their like tiny tree out front knocked over, and we were like, oh wow, that's pretty bad. And then, because at that point we were like, wow, that's some damage. I didn't realize it could knock a tree over. But then we went around the town, and it's just apocalypse out there.
Yeah.
Like there are power lines down. There were people just like wandering the street because their like houses got hit by trees, and they're just like figuring out what to do. There's like emergency vehicles everywhere. There are massive like 100-year-old trees are just uprooted and tossed everywhere, and it's like, wow, I have never seen anything like this. It's really, really something else.
Yeah, no, I was over at Pizza Man working.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this was at like 6:50 or something. All the sirens started going off constantly, and I'm like, oh boy, the radio was saying if you're in Faribault, duck.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, wow, this sounds kind of bad. It's black outside and it's not supposed to be yet.
Right, exactly.
So I was driving and the rain is hitting pretty decently. You know, it's not horrid, but it's decent. Mm-hmm. And I get back and I park my car, and my boss says, all right, you and your brother, because my brother works at Pizza Man with me now.
Oh, sweet.
Says you two should clock out and get out of here before the storm actually hits.
Right.
So we clocked out, got in the car, started driving home. It's sprinkling. It stopped sprinkling by the time we hit the lights. So basically we go 15 feet and it stops sprinkling. And it's dead. There's no wind, no rain, nothing. Yeah. We drive home. We get parked. And I tell Jacob, okay, so we got to hurry up, take the dogs out so they can go to the bathroom before the storm hits. Because they don't go during storms because they get nervous. Yeah. We go downstairs. We open the dog kennels. We go to the garage. We open the door. And the wind slams the door open, and rain comes pouring in halfway into our garage.
Yeah. It was
turned
like
that fast.
Yeah, no, it was immediate. Because me and my dad were outside when it really started to hit, and we did that like duck and cover, just like trying to hurry back into the house.
It
was
like ridiculous.
Whoa.
It was pelting.
And then I specifically remember when my dad closed the door, I looked past the door and I saw the tree across the way. The branches get like stripped off of it, and I was like, okay, this is a little more than your average storm.
Yeah, so I opened that door and I tried to get the dogs to go out, and I'm like, it's not happening. Shut the door, go inside. We grabbed stuff. I told Jacob to take the dogs, go into the bathroom downstairs. So they did. Yeah. And then I went upstairs, grabbed some cold pizza, sat in our living room downstairs and waited.
Right, yeah.
With the cat. And if anything got worse, I was going to take the cat and go to the bathroom as well. But no, it just, it was ravaged outside. And here I was sitting there trying to get an internet connection to see what the weather was doing. It wasn't happening. Yeah. And eating cold pizza for 30 minutes. And then it just stopped. And then it straight up just stopped. It was just a light sprinkle, and that was the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is... It kept raining through most of the night, but it was, the storm was clearly over at that point.
Yeah, it was nuts, though.
Yeah. Have you gotten a chance to look at much of the damage around town?
Well, I ended up driving to Red Wing so I could go get some supper, because... nobody was open in town?
Yeah, everything's shut down. I think Bill's business are starting to slowly open back up today, but all of yesterday, everything was shut down. Yeah. Including the traffic lights downtown, which was a real chaos.
Yeah, I didn't even touch the traffic lights. That's why I didn't get to that other part of town. Yeah. Because I'm like, I'm not even dealing with that. So I took shorter routes. Yeah. But yeah, no, like... crazy amounts of trees are ripped up. When driving out to Red Wing, you get about halfway out there and the damage starts reducing and you start not seeing anything. Yeah. But there is one part where there was that metal type roof where it just got ripped off, and it got put up in a tree so high that I'm like, that's not supposed to be there. Like, that's not a fort. That's not man-made. That's like some ungodly force put that up there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Pretty incredible.
The graveyard, the graveyard across from the school, just torn up.
Yeah,
trees all around over there.
The other graveyard up by the other end of town where I used to live, that graveyard out in front, right by my house. There are maybe like 2 or 3 trees still standing. Everything else was just flattened.
Jesus.
Like the funny, my old neighborhood is the heaviest hit part of town, I think.
Wow.
Driving around it, I was like, I distinctly remember there being more trees in this neighborhood. It felt a lot more open because over half the trees were down.
Wow.
And they're just like piling up in the street. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Wow.
Well, I know right now even just to get to your house, I had to take another way because there is a power line down, so they've closed off the road.
Yeah.
So I was going down the road, and then there's just a barricade, and I'm like, okay, power line's down, turn around, and then had to go out and around to get to your house.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, that happened. What do you do?
Yeah, so that's just what our lives been like, but well, in times like this, the best thing to do is just listen to some music. So what's your song of the week, Josh?
You know, that was all right. My song of the week is Bloody Well Right by Supertramp.
Cool.
Do you know this song?
I do not.
No? Good. I didn't either until a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And I started listening to it. It's just good. It's just good. It's got this kind of part where it starts off with this sweet little keyboard, and then it, gets more and more exciting, and it builds until the vocals come in, and then it kind of has this like poppy light rock aesthetic.
I'm just gonna grab my phone real quick.
And then it goes into like this weird, like the music cuts out and the voices keep singing. And I love that section so much.
Okay.
And that happens like 3 times throughout this song, and then it like has like a breakdown near the end with the keyboard and a saxophone, and it's good, and I like it a lot.
Cool.
And now it's my song of the week.
Rad.
What's your song of the week?
My song of the week is Shadow on the Sun by Audioslave. Because I've been feeling that good old Audioslave recently, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, this is kind of an underrated Audioslave song off their first album, I believe. And it's good.
Neato.
I just the concept of Audioslave is so neat to me because I love Rage Against the Machine and I love Chris Cornell, and just the two coming together. It's a fun time.
Yeah, very. They have good stuff. You know what you forgot to let me do?
The emails.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I realized that.
You want to go back and do that, or do you want to continue with music?
Yes, I want to go back and do that.
All right, so we got one email.
What's that?
It's by Roberto.
What does he say about Hugo this week?
Nothing.
Really? Okay.
Guess what he has something to say about?
What is it?
Can you have a guess? Do you have a guess?
Brockhampton.
You're right.
Am I?
Yeah. Really? Really? Is that hard to believe that you're right about him talking about Brockhampton?
I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind, I was like, I bet it's Brockhampton.
Of course it is. He says, you guys should check out Brockhampton's new album, Iridescence. Also, what do you think about Cary Fukunaga?
Yeah, the
being named
person
as the
who's going to direct
Bond 25?
Yeah.
What? I don't know what he's talking about. You want to explain?
I have no clue who Cary Fukunaga is. I've heard that he did he or she. I don't even know the gender of this person.
I will look it up right now. How about that? You keep it talking about it.
Did gosh, I want to say True Detective.
Roving Mars?
No, what's the name of that show? What's the name of that show? True Crime? True Grit?
True Detective?
True Detective. Okay, I was right the first time. And I've never seen that. So,
all right.
Yeah.
They were a writer on It.
Like the original or the remake?
The remake.
Okay.
If that tells you anything. Which it doesn't, not really.
Yeah. I'm just bummed that Danny Boyle's not doing it.
Man, by the way. Man.
Okay, cool. I'm just bummed Danny Boyle's not doing it.
Danny Boyle was...
going to do it.
Yeah, but who is he?
Danny Boyle did Train Spotting. He did Sunshine. Jeez, I know Danny Boyle. I swear.
I don't know either of those.
He did Train Spotting 2.
No, can't say I know that one either.
That's it.
Okay.
He did Slumdog Millionaire, I think.
I haven't seen it.
But yeah, no. Danny Boyle does weird movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of an auteur filmmaker. And apparently there were creative differences when he was signed on to do the next Bond movie, which means that he was going to make a good movie, and the studio's like, no.
What if he was going to make a really garbage, weird movie?
Well, I'm down for a really garbage, weird James Bond movie. This is just like Ant-Man all over again. Like, I want a director who can come into this established series and just do something buck wild with it.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I wish it would, though.
I know.
Like, Ant-Man, as directed by Edgar Wright, could have been amazing.
I know.
But, it was not to be. What are you doing?
I have a feeling I turned this...
You talking about the air conditioner?
Yeah. Well, okay, never mind. I thought I turned it off. I don't think I did. I think I turned it on.
It's fair enough. Because there is air conditioning in here.
Yeah, my bad. So that nice buzzing you've been hearing. Hopefully that'll go away now.
So...
But yeah, so Brockhampton's new album.
Yeah. James Bond.
James Bond.
I don't have any thoughts on it. Is this one still
Daniel Craig?
I think so. I think it's his last one? Daniel Craig one.
Alright, cool.
And then they will, of course, get Carrie Elwes to replace him as Bond.
Yeah, that's right. Female Bond.
No. Who do you think Carrie Elwes is?
I have no clue.
Okay.
But I know they've talked about doing a female Bond.
Carrie Elwes he played the swashbuckler in The Princess Bride, the blonde dude.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I almost watched Liar Liar. He's in that.
Is he?
Yeah.
Neat.
He's like the main antagonist.
He's also in several episodes of Psych. He is a thief.
That makes sense.
He's like a recurring character. A Canadian thief. Anyway, let's stop talking about Carrie Elwes.
So are we going to listen to that Brockhampton album?
No.
I think I could do it.
Okay.
You want to do it?
No. I'm good. I could, I suppose. I mean, it's not Death Grips, but I could listen to it.
I hate you.
Yeah, sure, I'll listen to it.
All right, we will give that a listen and then talk about it next week.
All right.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Speaking of music, what?
Are you going to talk about pigeons playing ping pong?
No.
Because that's what I was going to talk about.
What is that?
It's a band.
Okay.
They have a song that I've listened to that I enjoy. It's called F.U.
Oh.
And the entire song is about funk. F-U-N-K.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Almost my song of the week. Not quite.
Yeah.
Pigeons playing ping pong. I suggest giving them a look.
So they're a funk band?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think they're a funk comedy band. But this is the only song I know, so I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. We only knew that one song by Whiskey Dick, and it turned out that Whiskey Dick is not really a comedy band. It just has that one song that's ridiculously funny. So, you never know.
Well, and we also like the Pimps. And they have that one song about Grandma's sweater.
I forgot about the Pimps. As far as I'm concerned, the Pimps are a comedy band, whether or not they think they are.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. I don't think they think they are, but they are.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of like The Room.
That's fair.
It's definitely a comedy.
That's fair.
Everybody go listen to the Pimps is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because they are just the best band in the world. And the most amazing like dollar purchase we've ever made. We just found it for $1, and you're like, this looks cool, and we listened to it 18 times.
Yeah, it's either that or Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, which I actually like more, but it's not.
But Big Bad Voodoo Daddy's boring because they're good. The pimps are where it's at. Like yeah. Big Bad Voodoo Daddy's like actually a good jazz band. Like the Pimps, I don't even know what they're trying to be. It's kind of like
it's true, but
equal parts like Rage Against the Machine and I don't even know. It's kind of like an off-brand Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine and like Stevie Wonder put together.
Sure, yeah. It's so weird.
They got like this funk aesthetic with like Zach De La Rocha leading the band.
Yeah, that's right. The lyrics do not fit, and he's not a good singer,
and he's not a great rapper.
Yeah, that brings me back.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, so yeah. That's all I've listened to for music, though, is Bloody Well Right by Supertramp and FU Pigeons Playing Ping Pong.
Sick.
And, like, the typical stuff I listen to.
Yeah,
which would be boring to bring up again, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, I've been kind of not listening to a whole lot new recently, so. Therefore, that's the end of the music segment.
Great. Want to talk about video games?
Heck yeah. I've been playing 2 new games and revisiting a couple others as of late, and I'm still playing Spider-Man though.
Yeah, let's do our update on Spider-Man first.
Here's my going review with Spider-Man. It's a perfectly fine game. It's a fun game, really well made. I don't like how frequently they force you to play as characters other than Spider-Man, because it's always a forced stealth segment. And it's always boring. Like, at least it's not so frustratingly difficult that it gets you to stop playing, but it's the opposite extreme. It's so easy that it's just not engaging, and I hate it every time the camera pans out from Spider-Man, because I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be playing as Miles Morales now, which means I'm going to sneak around some thugs.
Yeah, you might want to edit that out. That's a spoiler.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Miles Morales is in Spider-Man?
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes,
That's the first thing I heard about it. I watched a review and somebody was like, Miles Morales is in it. And I was like, oh, cool.
Morales.
No. Rick Moranis.
No.
I'm not editing it out. If you haven't played Spider-Man now, you're a chump.
Wow. Great. Why don't you just tell them how it ends?
I don't know yet.
Great. Why don't I just tell them how it ends?
Great. I play as MJ, and it's just the worst. But then when I play Spider-Man again,
hey, man,
I'm like, thank God.
That's a spoiler.
MJ?
No, Spider-Man.
Oh, fair enough. But do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, those parts are definitely the weakest part in the game.
I think the reason for doing it is it makes you feel powerless, and that's supposed to make you appreciate Spider-Man more. But the point is they do it far too often for that to even work, because it's just like, oh, man, this sucks. I thought it was just going to be a novelty thing once or twice, but it's like a major gameplay component, and I really wish it wasn't. I really wish it didn't be like it is.
I think it only happens 2 or 3 times per Miles Morales and MJ.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then I've played 2 or 3 at least each of them, and I think 1 each is enough. More than enough.
I'm trying to think of how many times that you play that with MJ, and I'm only thinking of like.
There's at least like 4.
Really?
Yeah, you play as MJ a lot. You play as Miles Morales a couple times. Yeah.
I don't remember the other times then.
Well, maybe you're just having too much fun.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I was having a lot of fun.
It's a fun game.
I was having a lot of fun.
But currently, I hate all the non-Spider-Man things, and I sure wish you could play a game where you played as Spider-Man the whole time and called it Spider-Man, the game. That's a joke from Donkey. Anyway.
I accidentally 100% of that game in the course of 10 days.
Actually, I'm well on my way to 100%ing it, and I'm not even done with the story. I think I'm like 70% done already.
I've never done that with a game.
Yeah.
Where I've accidentally 100%ed it.
Yeah.
And then also done that within the course of 10 days of its release.
Yeah. Dude, I can 100% Infamous Second Son in like one day.
No, I'm not.
I can really speed run that now.
I'm sure, but I'm talking about like just getting this game and playing it, and then playing it to completion, and then getting the 100% trophy and being like, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
I've done it. This is it. This is 100%.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fair.
I was baffled.
Well, it's because the 100%ing that game's not too hard.
No,
because I think you just have to.
Easy.
You just have to beat the challenges. You don't have to get perfect ranks.
No, you don't.
Yeah, there are some games where to 100% it requires you get perfect ranks on all the challenges, and that's like.
Which, to be fair, I did.
Yeah.
Just because, but still, like I don't have anything left to do in that game.
Wow.
I've done everything.
Okay.
Like I can swing around and I can go, because in the end game content there's those random missions that happen around town that pop up like that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Spider-Man, there's a robbery happening over here, and then you just go stop it.
Yeah.
So I mean those still happen, but there isn't anything left for me to do.
Right.
At all. And so the end games, there really isn't much for end game. Period. I mean, there are hidden camera locations you can do, and then you do those and that ooh. But that's about it. Yeah. So the end game is super lacking. So the DLC, which is coming out next month? Yeah, next month, I believe, should definitely put some more life back into this game, I'm hoping, along with the next 2 months of DLC coming after. Mm-hmm. But I loved it. I loved this game. I would even say it's worth it. Worth the $60 to get it. It was very fun. I'm very sad it only lasted 10 days well, for me.
Yeah.
But
it's not a very massive game.
No, it's just not big at all, which, I don't know. I remember as a kid playing Spider-Man games and just being like, this is going to take forever. And then never being able to beat them all the way. And then this took me 10 days, which I'm baffled. I'm just baffled about. I don't do that with games. I don't typically sit down and just beat a game. That's weird for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm very, very baffled with how that ended up happening with this. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to get through my games real quick because you have way more better things to talk about. Played more Bloodborne.
I wouldn't count on that.
I mean, that's fair, but mine will go real fast.
Okay.
Because it's all stuff you've heard before. I played Bloodborne. I beat another boss in the Chalice Dungeons, getting me one step closer to 100%ing that game, which I've been actively trying to do ever since I got it. We have 2 more bosses to go, and then I get 100%
Sweet.
In the Chalice Dungeons, so that's fun. So that means we're on the headless, blood-starved, blood-letting beast, something like that, and he's a pain in the butt. Then I played more Dark Souls, and that's still fun. And then I believe we have to talk about the Mario Party coming on the Switch.
Oh, right. It just looks like good old school Mario Party. No stupid cart.
Yeah, which is neat.
Yeah, sure. Oh, there's also Animal Crossing coming to the Switch.
Yes, I think we briefly mentioned that last week.
I don't think so. I think it got announced since we've recorded last week.
Well, then let's talk about it now, too. Animal Crossing's coming. That's exciting.
That's about all we know at the moment. Just that there's a new Animal Crossing coming to the
Isabelle
Switch.
is in Smash.
Yes, that too.
Smash is still coming. That's nice. I'm hoping it's going to be as good as Melee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've already played it.
I mean,
because Smash Ultimate's weird because it's technically on a mechanic level, it's kind of a port of the last one, but also they've updated it. Oh,
they've updated literally every character, and so that might mean that they're bringing it back to the tight mechanical control of Melee to try to get the multiplayer scene the competitive scene up to par with Melee, because if they aren't, that would be very sad. I know Nintendo has been actively trying to kill Melee and kill the competitive scene within all of their games since forever, but they still can't do it because Melee is just that good of a game.
Yeah.
So they may be just accepting it now, and they may be deciding that this is going to be the game where they actually decide to make it so that this game can be used for family-friendly, environments, or for the competitive league, as in, the sport EA gaming convention, sports Evo, all those other different type of stuff that have widely accepted Melee as a prime game, and they don't accept the other ones.
They're definitely trying to push this as being the definitive Smash Brothers game.
Yeah.
And it's funny, they're making this such an all-out event that I don't know where they're gonna go with the series from here on out. I kind of get the sense that they're just kind of gonna stick with this one for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's like, where do you go from this? The sequel would be like more things.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really go anywhere from here. It's like you might as well just keep DLCing this one till infinity. Like pull a Minecraft. Like just have this one game for like your whole life.
Yeah, you're almost better.
Yeah.
Because cutting out any characters is going to make people mad. Cutting out any maps is going to make people mad.
Yeah.
Unless you're planning on basically redoing another franchise as a fighting game and basically scrapping Smash Bros, which I don't imagine them doing, like, they don't have very many other places to go.
Right. Yeah.
They've kind of put themselves in a corner where they've shown their hand.
Yeah.
This is everything we got.
Yeah,
type
exactly.
of deal. And it's working so far. Everything's sticking. Everybody's happy about what's come out. King K. Rool is playable. Like,
yeah,
I'm excited about that.
And it was just rumored that Minecraft Steve is gonna be a playable character.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, what?
Really? Next thing you'll know, Doom Guy is going to be a playable character. Yeah. My lord.
I don't.
If that happens before Waluigi is a playable character, I'm going to be so upset.
Yeah.
Because right now they're adding characters that are literally jokes on the internet about being in Smash. They were jokes. Now they're real.
Like Ridley and Isabelle.
Ridley.
Yeah.
Isabelle.
Yeah. Isabelle's addition to the roster makes zero sense.
Well, Isabelle's going to be a copy of Villager, so it makes sense.
Okay.
It's just a skin, basically, as far as I've seen.
But they're like, when Nintendo's just like, what do we got? We got this dog secretary.
I mean, they've got to put... Waluigi is going to be like the last one, because he's like the biggest meme out there right now, isn't he?
When Waluigi gets added to Smash, the internet's going to explode harder than if like Half-Life 3 was announced.
Well, because who else would you imagine? Like, what's the next character that's going to get added? Can you think of anybody else better than Waluigi?
It's odd that Waluigi's not in the game.
I know.
Because Wario's in the game.
Everyone else... Rosalina's in the game. Yeah. Peach. Daisy, all these other side characters. Kid Koopa's in the game, You have all these different players, but you don't have Waluigi. It's very bizarre.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on that. I've heard talk about the Waddle Dee from Kirby. I don't know. Okay. I don't think that was confirmed yet, but I've heard talk. Yeah. I think that'd be really dumb. I think it'd be fun, but I think it'd be really dumb.
Well, no more dumb than Isabelle.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, at this point...
Tom Nook is in the game.
Oh, yeah, but as like an assist trophy, right? Or is he an actual
I think he's an actual character, if I remember right. Yeah, no, I think I heard that right. So, that's fun.
They've completely jumped the shark. They jumped the shark when Ridley was a playable character, all right?
That's fair.
Like, what?
Imagine going on like some of those small maps with Ridley.
Yeah, right.
Like it's just gonna be like one hit and everybody's dead.
Yeah.
The end. Maybe it'll turn into one of those like Evolve was, where it's like 4v1 if somebody plays Ridley.
Maybe that'd be kind of neat.
That would be kind of cool. like a boss challenge where if you get a bunch of friends together.
They've like seriously scaled down how big Ridley is though. In the gameplay, he's like only slightly bigger than a normal character, I think.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry.
How else do you add Ridley as a playable character?
That's fair.
Like,
but if they did do that thing where they did do the 1v4, you could do like the Giga Bowser again. You could do all those other type of stuff. That would be really neat.
Yeah.
Huh.
That would be cool. If you're listening,
Nintendo.
We've stumbled across the one idea that you haven't utilized yet for this series.
Battle Royale.
Yeah.
No, it basically is a Battle Royale. What are we...
I mean, yeah, it is. It is a fight to the death.
Fair. Never mind. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Just like make this a 3D world first-person shooter, and then let us do a Fortnite with it.
Yeah. When are the Fortnite characters coming to Smash? Are there characters in Fortnite? I don't know the first thing about that game.
Skins of characters, and people have become attached to them.
Okay.
And I think some of them have names, but I don't know.
All right.
I don't play Fortnite.
I
played Bloodborne.
It's just... Smash Ultimate's just such an interesting game to me because, like I said, I just wanted to just like ponder upon the fact that it is a port, but such a revised port that it's almost a new game. Like, it's essentially a port of the one from the Wii U, but also kind of a new game, which I guess is like, I don't know. I guess you could kind of call it a new game at that point because it's like.
I would go on that side. I think I'm gonna call it a new game.
Okay.
Because I can't think of what else I'd say.
I mean, it's I guess because it initially it was like I heard that the Wii U Smash is coming to Switch, and I was like, cool. And then I saw videos for it, and I was like, oh, they're adding a couple new characters. And then I saw the video where it's like every character has been tweaked, and like all their stuff's different, and there's like so many changes. I was like, it's not really a port, is it? It's more they built a new game off of the foundation of that other game.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah. So it's kind of, yeah. And it will be the definitive Smash game, so.
So by the time that comes out, I will probably own a Switch.
Okay. And that's going to be the console seller for you?
Probably. That, Mario Odyssey, and Animal Crossing are probably the 3 games that are finally going to convince me to get a Switch. Right.
Also, I don't know if you care, but Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming to the Switch.
I never played the second one.
I haven't played any of them.
I played about 3 hours of the first one, really slowly with my brother, because I had a friend who lent me a copy, and I don't have a memory card in my my GameCube because I've lost my memory cards because when we were recording Digibaka. So, I don't have a memory card. I don't know where they ended up.
I can't imagine they're too expensive these days.
No, it's just I'm lazy and I haven't found a good game shop that sells them.
Fair enough.
It's hard to find game shops that are still selling GameCube bits.
I wonder if one of them's at my house.
Maybe.
It's always possible.
It's a possibility. Or they might even still be in my house and I just can't find them. I don't even know. But yeah, so I've played a little bit of the first one and it was fun. I didn't play the second one, which I believe was on the DS. If I remember right. Yeah. And then the third one coming, I'm excited for it. I mean, I enjoyed what I played of the first one.
I hear Luigi's Mansion's the best Ghostbusters video game adaptation.
Yeah. That's fair. It's fun. I had a good time playing the first one.
Second best. The one on the PS3 one was actually legitimately good.
360 and the PS3?
Yeah.
I've heard it's good. I haven't played it.
Oh, you should totally play it.
I know, you're very hyped for it.
It's one of my favorite underrated games. It's super great. It's like a Gears of War style shooter, but also like a horror game. It's something else, and it's just fun. It's like the closest we'll ever get to a proper Ghostbusters 3.
We're so close to making a perfect segue into movies, but we're not even done with video games yet.
Yeah, because I haven't even got to mine yet.
I watched Ghostbusters this weekend. We'll get to that later. Sick. Yeah.
Are you done, or do you want to let me?
No, yeah, go rip it.
Okay. I am approximately 5 years late to the party on this one, but I'm playing Papers, Please, and it's good.
Okay.
Really good. If you like puzzle games with a unique concept, I've never played a game like Papers, Please, where it's literally the gameplay is you check documents to make sure they align properly, and then you let people through. How much do you know about Papers, Please?
A little bit. Aaron was super duper into it.
I can see why. It takes place in 1982. A fictional country that is very much supposed to be USSR.
That's what it looks like.
Soviet 1982. And you play a poor member of society who is chosen at random to run a checkpoint. And the whole game's this like dystopian view of like communist Soviet era Russia, where any sort of dissidence is, you get shot, that kind of thing, and you have to feed your family, but also do right by the government, and you come across moral conflicts where, like, you let a man through the checkpoint, and he's like, right behind me in the line is my wife, please see to it that she gets to me. And then his wife comes by, but she doesn't have proper documents, and it's like by law you're required to turn her away, and she's like, if I return to my home country they'll kill me, and then you have to deny, if you can let her through and face a citation from the government, or you can deny her and get more money for your family, moral conflicts like that. And then, occasionally you let somebody through, happens to be a suicide bomber, that kind of thing. And it's a really, really, really interesting way to tell a story. And I'm loving it. It's a great game. And I know everybody who's had any interest in it has played it by now, because it came out in 2013. But, give it a shot.
Yeah, no, I've thought about picking it up.
Yeah, it's only $10. It's, it's worth it. So, yeah. The other one that I've been playing is even greater narrative masterwork, and it is Euro Truck Simulator, which is, I'm liking that, but for different reasons, It's, the Josh just looks dead inside. It's story that'll be passed down through the ages. It's about a lowly truck driver who yearns to have his own business, but alas, he doesn't own a truck. So you have to do truck driving jobs for various companies before you can make enough money to put a truck in your garage. And it's an absolute joy to play if you like games that involve you driving down a road for 30 minutes at a time and then dropping off a package and then doing it again. It's a very realistic highway system. And I'm legitimately enjoying it. What I'm thinking I'm going to do one of these days is like load up a podcast and just play this game for like 3 hours. Because it's really relaxing. You just live the life of a trucker, man. The only issue is it's in Europe, so you have to drive on the left side of the road. That's a real challenge. But other than that, my home base is in Glasgow, of course, because I am not Scottish, but
isn't it pronounced Glasgow?
Glasgow, something like that. My first shipment was to Aberdeen, and it went well. I only crashed into a couple cars. So I'm having a good time with it. Luckily, they only docked me like a couple £100, and I got paid like $3,000. So it's going good.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have a thing against truck driving simulator games?
I just don't play them.
Fair enough.
I've never played them.
I could see why you wouldn't. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. but it's fun.
I understand where the enjoyment comes. Like, there is a process and a completion, and then that rush of endorphins when you finally deliver that package after an hour of driving.
Yeah.
In-game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. It's just not for you, I take it.
I'd try it, and then I'll let you know someday.
Okay, fair enough.
Give her a go. But as of right now, I would probably guess no, it's not for me.
Yeah, I don't see it really.
That's just a hunch.
And it dawned on me that I was playing. I bought both these games in the same go because Euro Truck was on sale for like $4 or something like that, and I was like, might as well give it a shot because I heard it's a really realistic open world driving simulator, and I'm kind of interested in that because you know me, I like driving. I like just going on adventures, so it appealed to me. And then I got Papers, Please because I was like, I've been hearing a lot about it recently, and it's like I want to play it because I never did.
Yeah.
And then I realized I got two games. One where you check documents at a checkpoint, and one where you are a trucker and you deliver things. And it's like, my gaming life is less exciting than my real life because outside there are trees down and like emergency vehicles speeding around, and here I am playing Euro Truck Simulator.
Yes, you are allowed in this country.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. My video games have become more boring than the world around me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is very funny.
So, yeah, that's been me. And then I played a little bit. I'm getting back into Kingdoms of Amalur because I stopped playing that, and I'm going to get back into it.
I don't know what that is.
It is a fantasy game, kind of like Fable, but a lot more. It's like Fable fully realized, basically. It's like
so like Fable 3?
Full Fable, no, like a good game.
My bad.
I don't actually hate Fable 3. A lot of people don't like it, but it's like, this is like what Peter Mayhew wanted to do with Fable, but he just didn't have the, I said Peter Mayhew. That's who plays Chewbacca. Yeah. Is it? I don't know. Whatever. The guy who made Fable, it's like what he wanted to do with Fable. It's like fully fleshed out and fully realized, and it plays exactly like Fable, but it's like a real game. As much as I like Fable, it always felt really, really like the person behind it just was forced into a choke point of really limiting game design. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
I've always kind of gotten that feeling about Fable. So this is like, you know, this is the best Fable game. And it's cool.
Cool. Very cool.
And that's about it. I played a little Super Hot today, and it's still a good game.
Super hot. Super hot.
Yeah, that's all I've been doing.
Super hot. I never played that one.
Really?
No.
I feel like you'd like it.
I feel like I would too.
It's kind of a strategy game. It's like the truest real-time strategy because it's like turn-based combat in a sense.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah. It's like this most free-flowing turn-based combat game I have ever seen.
And then when it like plays back, it goes in fast motion. Yeah, it looks super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very neat. So movies?
Yes.
Yes.
I know what your movie of the week is, so I'm briefly going to talk about the only movie I saw besides my
we're doing
movie
of the week last.
I know, but I'm talking about briefly the only movie I saw other than my movie of the week, and it is Slice, and I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't like it.
And we'll get into that.
More on that next week, because there's no A24 quest this week. It's just because I didn't watch the other movie like a dum-dum.
It's okay. Satan was coming out of the clouds and murdering our
That's true.
City. It's
to be fair, I think natural disaster is a pretty good excuse.
Yeah.
What else have you been seeing?
I would agree with that. Yeah. I watched a lot of movies, actually, this past week. So let's start from the top, meaning Ghostbusters. I watched Ghostbusters. It's still good. It's still very good. I love that movie.
Yeah, no, it's
so much.
Absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time.
Now let's go to the bottom. I watched Solo.
Oh, you hadn't seen that yet?
No, I hadn't. It was bad.
What are you? Okay, yeah, it is.
It was boring.
It is.
I realized that the main character kind of looks like a young Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
but he's an awful actor. I didn't like him in it. I think he did a poor job.
Yeah,
he didn't have the same charisma as Harrison Ford.
Actually, I'll say Alden, the guy who played Solo in that movie. Yeah. The guy who played Solo in that movie.
Yeah.
I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I just say you know how that movie, like, halfway through switched directors and they did reshoots?
Mm-hmm.
There are some scenes where he's okay. I noticed one or two shots in the movie where I was like, oh, hey, he's, like, really playing Solo. He's, like, playing the character correctly. And then most scenes, he's just not. And I think that's down to reshoots. I think when Ron Howard got involved and Alden Ehrenreich was like, I got my acting coach here, and Ron Howard just went over and slapped him right on the face. He was like, you're going to act. I think that's how it went down.
Cool. One thing, I really like Donald Glover. I don't think he was a good choice for Lando.
Yeah, I
agree
with you.
Do you know who I think would have been really good?
The same guy who played him in the original movies, but just made to look younger.
Yeah, basically, the werewolf from Slice.
Oh, yeah, Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, except Chance the Rapper's not a great actor, but, you know.
But as far as, like, looks,
sure.
Like, he looks like Lando.
Yeah. I mean,
And if he was a good actor...
Yeah. I
think it could have worked.
I don't think looks-wise, Donald Glover was a bad choice.
I mean, he's not awful, but I don't think he was
I think
great.
My issue with him is not how he looks. It's more about how he acts and how he as well is a little inconsistent, particularly his accent. There are some scenes where he has the Lando accent and some where he just doesn't, and I also think that's probably down to reshoots.
Well, and, you know, he already has a huge connotation with just being Donald Glover. Like, you know him in other things.
Yeah. It was difficult to see him as Lando.
Yeah,
just like it was difficult to see Alden as Solo.
Was it?
I think so.
What did you know him as?
Well, I mean, I knew him as the ironically, I knew him as the kid from Hail Caesar. Who was in Hail Caesar. He played an actor who was really bad at acting, and he needed an acting coach to get his lines read. And then when he joined on to Solo, it came out that he had to bring an acting coach on set because he couldn't act right. And that's amazing.
That's hilarious.
It's like it was perfect casting in Hail Caesar.
And then the truth come out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to act.
Yeah, exactly. Turns out he wasn't even acting in Hail Caesar.
No, it turns out he was acting in Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
No, but no, it's not even for me, it's not even a matter of, like, seeing him as the character from Hail Caesar. It's more as, like, I look at him and I don't see Han Solo.
Yeah,
as an actor. True. I'm like, this is just some kid.
Yeah.
So
that's very fair. Best actor in the whole movie, Chewie.
Yeah,
I think so.
Woody Harrelson was in the movie.
Yeah,
he did.
I was very surprised that I didn't even like Woody Harrelson all that much.
He just did the Woody Harrelson thing that he does in every movie.
Yeah, but he wasn't even, like, good at it this
time. Yeah.
Like, usually I like Woody Harrelson, but in this I was just like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't belong here. Go somewhere else.
Oh, I want to get your opinion on this because it's driving me crazy. I noticed this when I saw Solo in the theater, which was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I as the movie started, it was so dark I couldn't see anything. Like the gamma on the screen was just, like, super dark, and everybody's constantly in shadow, and it didn't feel like it was supposed to be that way. And I was, like, checking the projector room. I was, like, looking back. I was like, is there, like, a problem with the movie? But then as it went on, and the whole time I was watching it, I thought there was just something wrong with my projector in my theater. And then I came out, and I didn't see anybody talking about it. And then the Red Letter Media video came up, and they mentioned that. It was so dark that they thought something was wrong with it. Did you get that impression? Because a lot of people I've talked to, like, didn't even notice.
I mean, It's almost filmed like a classic noir film.
Right, yeah.
Where it is just that dark.
But it was distractingly dark.
For sure.
Like, it looked like it was filmed to not be that dark, but it looks like they changed the look of the film in post, is possible. What it looked like it. Yeah. Like, I feel like Ron Howard wanted to make it darker, both visually and story-wise, so he just, like, turned the brightness down, and it really, really bothered me. Because, like, I couldn't make out characters' faces in any scenes. Yeah. I didn't know what the love interest looked like. At the end of the movie, she showed up. I was like, "Who are you?" Because she was, like, always in shadow.
Yeah, that's fair.
It bugged me. I seriously, I didn't like the movie at all. I took a full star off for that because it irritated me so much.
That's fair.
I was like, "This is awful."
Yeah, it was very bad.
And then I heard some people saying, like, well, at least the visuals were great. And I was like, no, they weren't. They would have been if
No, it was bad.
It got me irritated. It got me more irritated than Ghost in the Shell.
Wow.
Because the entire movie, I was like, this is wrong. This is not correct. A basic editing student could tell you this is not color graded correctly. So
it was bad.
Yeah, that's my thing about Solo. The movie itself is boring, but that really bugged me.
So let's take it a step. I don't know, to the side. It's not up, it's not down. It's kind of on the same level.
Yeah.
Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom is the second one, I think. The second one.
Sure, yeah.
Whatever the second one's subtitle is. I don't care. It was bad.
Yeah, I think it's Fallen Kingdom. I heard it was very, very bad.
Yeah, like...
That's what I heard.
Chris Pratt was okay. That's why I watched it.
Did you watch it after watching Love on a Leash?
Yeah.
Cool. How did it compare?
I don't like Love on a Leash a lot more. Just because of what it is.
Yeah.
But they're both bad.
All right.
We'll get to Love on a Leash. I have it on the list.
Okay.
So, yeah, Jurassic World, you got Chris Pratt running around. The story pacing is garbage. The premise is garbage. Who would do that? Dinosaurs. Let's get them off the island and save them? What? No. Let's all hide them in a mansion. Charles, I know it's upsetting. Please calm down.
Yeah, we got a dog growling in the background. In case you're wondering what that is,
he's even upset about it.
Sitting here silently, hoping it goes away. Charlie, come here. He's not coming. He's not gonna come.
So anyway, they take a bunch of dinosaurs, they hide them in a mansion, and then this guy is like, "Hey, I'm gonna start selling these dinosaurs," and so he does. He's also made a velociraptor that's super, even more deadly, and even worse. It gets killed in the movie. Doesn't matter.
That's not derivative of the last movie at all.
Yeah, no.
When I heard that the premise involved somebody made a super dinosaur that's even better than the dinosaur from the last movie, I was like, what?
But it was like even worse.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, like, so this dinosaur, like, he faints being hurt or injured or knocked out.
Yes, I heard my favorite thing I've heard about that movie that makes the whole movie worthwhile in my mind is that I heard there's a scene, tell me if this is correct, that where they use a tranquilizer on the dinosaur, but he fakes being knocked out and he opens his eye towards the camera and like practically winks at the camera and then kills the guy.
No, you're close.
Okay.
He feigns being knocked out by the trank. The guy, for some ungodly reason, unlocks the door, walks inside, and then decides, well, they briefly showed that he has like this fetish for like taking dino teeth.
Yes.
So he then pulls out this wrench or like some pliers or something and then goes in to grab the tooth. He opens his eye, shuts it, opens it again, and then turns toward the guy who has the pliers on the tooth and then eats him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it has like that double effect where it's even more comical and stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worse.
Cool. Sounds good.
But yeah, so that happens. This dinosaur is a joke. It's awful. He looks cool. He's good for toys.
Yeah. Well, that's just what the series is now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just merchandising at this point. I mean, not that Jurassic Park wasn't just that all the time. It's just at a certain point, the Jurassic Park movies were like, okay, there's a lot of toys involved, but it was like, good filmmaking. At this point, what is there? Why do they make them besides money?
I don't know.
Like,
but anyway, I'm just gonna spoil this whole movie because I don't care about it, and you shouldn't either.
Well, I'm absolutely not going to see it.
That's fine.
Because I did not like Jurassic World one bit.
So they go to this island. They have a bunch of people protesting the extinction of these dinosaurs because the volcano is going to go off and kill them all.
Yeah.
And so the main girl from the last one goes to Chris Pratt, and she's like, we need to go save these dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. So then they go to the island. They pick up a bunch of dinosaurs. They put them on a boat. Then they get betrayed by this military man who leaves them for dead on the island. They get off anyway and get onto that boat.
Okay. Is there a scene where like hippy dippy protesters get killed by a dinosaur?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because this happened in Carnosaur.
I mean, not exactly.
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is. I heard a comparison between this movie and Carnosaur, oddly enough, and you just brought it back. There's a scene in Carnosaur where the theme of Carnosaur is like there's environmentalists and they're like the dinosaurs are like they're like you're killing the rainforest, man, and they chain themselves to a bulldozer that's gonna knock over the rainforest, and then that night when they're chained to the bulldozer, the Carnosaur comes by and kills all of them.
Oh my god!
and
oh, that's good.
I heard somebody say something like there's a similar theme, not necessarily that happens, but there's a similar theme in Jurassic World, the second one, where it's like environmentalists, but ultimately like dinosaurs, they'll kill you.
I mean, ish. Yeah.
Sure.
Close.
Okay.
Yeah, it has that theme. So anyway, they pick up all these dinosaurs. They're on a boat going back to the mainland.
Yeah.
And then this girl is told, you need to fix Blue, that velociraptor from the first movie, because he's injured. You know why he's injured? Because they shot her. Oops. Yeah. So they have to do a T-Rex blood transplant, and that's where that shot of Chris Pratt rolling through the T-Rex mouth happens.
Oh, yeah.
That's where that happens.
Right.
And then they basically transfuse him with T-Rex blood because that's
I was really hoping you were gonna say Blue and Chris Pratt get on like tables next to each other and they transplant Chris Pratt's blood into Blue. I was super hoping that's where that was going, but never mind. Continue.
I would have loved that. That would have been better. That would have been way better.
Yeah.
You're not gonna die on me. Yeah, that'd be better. So anyway, they're on a boat. Blue's fine. All the dinosaurs are fine. They put them in cages underneath a mansion of a guy who now owns them.
Because this has to have a rural setting. Because that's like
sort of rural, like it's in the middle of nowhere.
No, I urban setting. I meant.
Yeah. Urban? No, rural.
Urban.
Rural,
like in a city.
No, it's in a mansion.
Oh, okay.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. I'm just picturing what was it, Jurassic Park 3, where like the dinosaurs are in New York City or something.
I don't know.
Because I thought that's where they were going with this. I can let you continue your synopsis.
I don't know.
Okay.
Man, so they're in. Imagine like a huge forest. There's a mansion.
Okay.
In the forest, and then so they're underground in like a secret bunker of this mansion. Chris Pratt's there. And he's still hiding around because he's supposed to be dead. Whatever. They've made a new dinosaur, and they're starting to sell off all these dinosaurs to the highest bidders.
Yeah.
And then they're like, here's this new prototype. We're not selling him. And people just start bidding on him. And then they sell him anyway.
Cool.
Because that's neat. And then Chris Pratt lets a dinosaur out into the mansion. And it starts beating people up. And it's very funny. I laughed.
That sounds good.
And then they go around, and they basically break out. Everybody dies. Because this velociraptor then gets out due to the man being dumb, tranking him, not tranking him, whatever, doesn't matter. Everyone dies, and then there is a shot of Chris Pratt, the girl from the last one, and this little girl who is actually a clone.
Oh.
There's clones now, by the way.
Sure, why not?
Because this guy never had a daughter. He had a sister or something. She died, and now he has a clone. I don't know. It's dumb. And then they're like gonna push the button to release the dinosaurs into the world because the entire place is on fire and gonna burn them anyway, and then they're gonna be extinct, like they should have been. But then she's like, "No, I can't push the button." And then the little clone girl pushes the button, and then they all go free.
Great.
That's the end of the movie. The last shot is.
So you're telling me they had a pretty decent way to like end the Jurassic World saga, but then sequel girl comes up and is like, no.
Yeah, clone sequel girl.
Okay.
Don't forget clone.
Yeah.
And the last shot is the best shot. It's like blue on like a rock over this huge city, which looks kind of like LA because it looks like deserty outside, and it's just blue. He stands on a rock and then he runs off.
Yeah.
So now there's going to be dinosaurs in cities.
Great.
Yeah.
So now we just coexist with dinosaurs now? That's where the Jurassic...
I'm guessing it's not going to be coexist.
It's going to be like a war for the Planet of the Apes.
I hope so.
The series is going to turn into Planet of the Apes with dinosaurs.
Oh God, I hope so. Please have people dressed up in awful dinosaur costumes.
Yeah.
That could be a lot of fun. Awful, but fun.
I would love that. Andy Serkis is a dinosaur.
Oh, yeah, that could be fun.
Oh, I want it.
Oh, okay. So anyway, that was really bad.
Okay.
I'm probably going to watch the third one just because I'm not going to go see it in theaters.
Okay.
But, I'll probably see it. Meh. Anyway, I watched The Conjuring right before I came here.
Sick.
Because I'm going to watch The Conjuring 2. And then I'm going to go watch The Nun because my family is going to go watch The Nun. And they're like, you want to come? And I'm like, free movie, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'll do it. So I watched The Conjuring 1. It was okay, actually. I didn't hate it. James Wan is okay. He's fine.
The, reputation of the Conjuring series is that they're actually, pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, the first one and the second one are, of all those dumb Blumhouse ghost movies, those are, the good ones.
Yeah.
And some would say Insidious. I only saw part of the first Insidious. It was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
But yeah, so far I don't mind The Conjuring 1.
Yeah.
I had an alright time. I would suggest it if you like horror movies. Cool. But if you like horror movies,
you
probably already seen it.
Yeah. Is there a bunch? Okay?
I'm dying.
Is it really heavy on the jump scares?
I mean, as far as scares go, yeah.
Okay.
It's James Wan.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a couple of really good shots with a couple of really good spooks, but for the most part, they're jump scares.
Okay.
None of them got me because I wasn't 110% invested because I expected it. It was like, okay, so this is gonna be James Wan with the jump scares and the spooky and the pretty good lighting and the pretty good shots, but overall, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was
okay.
Worth a watch.
Fair enough.
So I watched that. It was all right. I also watched Anchorman. The Ron Burgundy story or whatever.
Yeah.
As the subtitle.
That is a good movie.
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I don't really want to watch it again ever.
Fair enough.
The best part of that whole movie is Steve Carell.
Oh, okay.
The fight is a part of that.
Yeah.
But Steve Carell in that movie is just playing a more mentally
careful.
He's just playing.
I'm just gonna watch you dig yourself out of this hole now.
Well, I mean, they say in the movie that he ends up going on in life and becoming a mentally disabled person.
Okay.
Well,
he isn't already?
Well, yeah. No, that he ends up going to a doctor and they tell him that.
I haven't seen Anchorman in a long time.
That's fair. But yeah, he plays like Steve Carell in The Office, but even stupider.
Yeah.
An even dumber.
Right.
Michael from it's bizarre.
Isn't his name Brick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I forgot about that. I ate your chocolate squirrel. Yeah, no, it's awful.
Yeah.
About half the jokes really hit, but almost all the jokes with Steve Carell hit for me. they just did. And I'm not like a huge Steve Carell fan, so I was kind of surprised about that.
If I were to rewatch that Murphy, the first hurdle I would have to clear is Will Ferrell. I can't talk. Will Ferrell. I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan.
Me neither.
Never have been.
I like him in specific things. Elf.
I like him.
I enjoy Elf.
I like him in the movie Stranger Than Fiction. The only dramatic role I've ever seen him do. Because I'm pretentious.
Good.
Have you ever seen or heard of Stranger Than Fiction?
I think I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
It's super good. I recommend it. It's better than Anchorman 2, for example.
All right.
Have you seen Anchorman 2?
No.
Well, let me tell you something about Anchorman 2. It's like Anchorman 1, but worse.
All right. And that's not good because I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. Like, it's okay, but it's not great.
You could just skip the second one.
I kind of planned on it. But yeah, so I mean, if you're going to watch it, watch it. If you're not going to watch it, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
Well, have I told this story on podcast how I saw Anchorman 2 in the theater? I did a double feature of Anchorman 2 and The Legend of Hercules, and I ended up laughing more at the Legend of Hercules.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that says something about
Wait,
Anchorman
Legend of
2.
Hercules, that's the one with The Rock, right?
No, that was the one before the one with The Rock.
Who was that with?
That nobody remembers. It came out in 2014. Nobody that you'd know.
Okay.
I think history has forgotten about it because the one with The Rock came out and I was like, they're trying to like erase the fact that there was another Hercules movie before that. It's kind of like the Clash of the Titans movie. Like very few people remember it actually happened.
I do. I saw that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Me too. But we're the right age for it.
I suppose.
Yeah, no, Legend of Hercules was just the worst.
Did you ever see the one with The Rock?
No, because I had seen Legend of Hercules and I decided not to.
I'm like dying to see the one with The Rock. I know it's going to be awful, but I really just want to see it.
I'm sure it's better than The Legend of Hercules. The Legend of Hercules has a scene where somebody gets a spear thrown at them and it impales them, but then they turn around and you can see that it's tucked under their arm.
Oh, good.
And they just kept it in. It's supposed to be this like AAA big budget movie and it's horrible. and it's hilarious.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. Wow.
So that's my movie of the week.
Okay. I also watched Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls,
Cool.
Because I had to finish off that.
Fair enough.
I love that one even more than the first one. It's good. It's so stinking funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I watched Toy Story.
Oh, that's a good one.
It still holds up. It's very good. The only part where it starts to fall apart is anytime there is a human or a dog on screen. Because the humans and the dogs look absolutely awful.
They're just nightmare monsters.
They're bad CGI.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that they're bad CGI.
Well, you gotta cut it some slack. It was the first CGI Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Some people incorrectly call it the first CGI feature-length movie. It was not.
No. But it was the one that
the first mainstream one.
It created a ton of different ways of filming CGI. It basically kicked off everything as far as we know as CGI today.
Yeah.
As far as filming goes, like the tactics and how they went about doing it. And it was a nightmare to make. It was absolutely a nightmare to make that entire movie.
Yeah.
Very interesting. If you ever get bored, look up how Toy Story 1 was made. It's a nightmare. It's very interesting.
Cool. And that one movie shaped the future of every Pixar movie
and Disney movie.
Since. Yeah, and every Disney movie since. Like, is the major turning point for those two companies.
Yeah, for sure.
Or one company. They're both like...
They're together now.
Yeah, right.
They weren't originally, but they are now.
Okay.
I believe. So yeah, I watched that. I watched exactly half of Love on a Leash.
You didn't finish it?
No.
I can't blame you.
Why would I finish it?
I know.
What a ridiculous question. No, I didn't finish it.
To be fair, you were kind of a captive audience because you were just on your phone and I just started it.
That's very true. If you want, go to Letterboxd. I have a great review of it.
Yeah. I haven't even read it yet.
You haven't?
Yeah, I should go.
I should lengthen it. I don't remember exactly what I put in it, but I remember the majority of it is very fun stuff. And then what I'm going to be seeing is Conjuring 2, The Nun, like I said. I'm going to be watching Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 again shortly. And I'm also going to be watching Drag Me to Hell. Now, this may lead you to believe that I'm doing a Sam Raimi marathon, which I am, which I started last night with Darkman. You ever seen Darkman, Colin?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, no. Is it one of Sam Raimi? Is it not Sam Raimi's best work?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I believe it was one of his first movies he did with a bigger company, with Universal Pictures.
Okay.
And he was trying to get away from his personal style, actually, while making this movie, I guess.
Right.
And it's bad. It's a bad movie.
Cool.
There is some very good classic Sam Raimi effects going on here with Darkman. And Darkman is essentially this weird combination of The Shadow and Batman.
Yikes.
So let me start this off with the premise. So we got Liam Neeson.
Oh.
As the main character.
He's Darkman?
He is Darkman.
Oh, wow.
And then we have Frances McDormand.
Really?
As the love interest.
I'm getting a little bit worried as to how I haven't heard of this movie.
I know, right?
With that cast, there must be something horrifically wrong with it.
Well, rest assured, these are like the two only big names in it. That I knew, at least. Mm-hmm. So we have Liam Neeson as a scientist, of course, and Frances McDormand as the love interest, and she is this like attorney lady. Yeah. And what ends up happening is he's trying to find a way to make synthetic cells, and he can't make them exist except in the dark, because for some reason they fall apart in the light.
Sure. Why not?
Something about it, man. Photons, they do things. So he's like, dang, it's not working. So he's all upset, whatever. And he has this Asian sidekick at his lab who helps him. Anyway, Frances McDormand then finds some irregularities in a big company's whatchamacallit, doesn't matter. So they're paying off this mob to try to make buildings happen. Doesn't matter. Make a bunch of money. And
this sounds like this was post Tim Burton Batman.
I believe so.
Because it's like I'm getting a real we ripped off Tim Burton's Batman vibe from this.
Maybe. I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
If you want to look it up, that'd be cool.
I'll just see. Because if it was before Tim Burton's Batman, I just thinking the love interest who's like presumably a reporter or a
I don't know.
Is she in the movie like a reporter?
No, she's like somebody who goes over the accounts and tries to find irregularities.
Right, okay.
But anyway, so she finds this irregularity and brings it up to a boss and says, hey man, you're doing illegal things. And he's like, oh, well, you might want to not look at that because, hey, somebody's real dangerous is going to be trying to get that from you.
Yeah.
Anyway, Liam Neeson has it because they're in love. I don't know. He just has it. So the bad guys go to his place and they start wrecking the place. And they force him to put his hands on these two things, trying to shove him into this like cauldron of bubbling liquid. You don't know what it is. It's bubbling liquid. But he grabs it to stop himself, and it electrocutes him. And his hands have that fantastic effect where the skin like goes to the bone, and then it melts to the bone, like Sam Raimi does in Evil Dead.
He does good gore effects.
Yes,
that's his thing.
So that happens real quick. And then he pushes himself away, and then they dunk him in anyway. Doesn't matter. His face gets all messed up.
Yeah.
They kill his sidekick. They end up finding the document. They leave. And then he's still alive. Surprise, surprise. He gets up. He gets blown up and shot into a river.
What?
Yeah, sorry, that happened.
Okay.
He gets blown up and launched into a river. He then goes to a hospital, and they're like, we found this dude lying on the riverbank, and he's in a full body cast, spinning in a circle on what looks like one of those like magician boards where they throw
what?
where they throw knives at him. It looks like that, but he's spinning just in a circle.
Yeah.
While this doctor lady is like, yeah, no, we had to remove all of his pain. So we cut off the nerves, so the nerves don't work anymore. But the problem with losing this sense is that the brain starts making up for it by enlarging the feelings of rage, anger, homicidal actions. So, basically explains the rest of the movie right there. Almost. So he starts getting real upset. And he breaks out of the hospital because that's what he does. He then forms new hands with his machines that have been blown up, but he fixes them, kind of. And he makes himself new hands. So he puts them on.
Still in a full body cast?
No, he's in rags and now he's wearing a trench coat.
Great.
And he still has like bandages on his head.
Good.
Yeah. So he makes new hands. And he starts typing on the computer and he creates his face from this fake material.
Okay.
And it says it's going to take over 500 hours.
Yeah.
And he's like, great! He hits enter and he leaves. And then he goes on a revenge quest, killing all the people that killed him.
Right.
By then printing off their faces, which doesn't take over 500 hours for some ungodly reason.
Sure.
Prints off their faces, then like goes undercover as them, getting them killed by stealing money from the guys. Doesn't matter. It's stupid.
Yeah.
He then goes as his face when it's finally done, puts it on his head, meets up with Frances McDormand. He's like, I'm not dead. Don't run away from me. And then she's like, oh my God. And then they go to a carnival.
Yeah.
He freaks out because he threw a ball at those bottles, knocks him down. And the guy is like, yeah, nah, man, your foot was over the line. We can't give you that elephant. He's like, give me the fucking elephant. That's literally a line in the movie. Is Liam Neeson just yelling at a carnival guy to give him the fucking elephant. And so he ends up, the guy from the carnival pokes him, and this is my favorite part of the whole movie. Yeah. He grabs the guy's fingers, which are prosthetic, like not actually prosthetic, but they're rubber, and so they do this awful bending motion, and it looks just horrid. And then he throws him like 20 feet.
Yeah. I mean, this just sounds like a really good movie.
And then his face, because it's a fake face, and it'll start melting after 99 minutes in the sun, starts bubbling. Ugh. And then he goes, don't look at me! Grabs his face and runs away.
No, you're describing a masterpiece.
Don't get me wrong. This movie's awful.
Okay.
I loved it.
Fair enough. It did come out a year after Tim Burton's Batman, by the way.
There you go. So then he goes back to his place. They eventually figure out he's bad. Frances McDormand still wants to be with him. Whatever. It's dumb. There's a big stupid thing on a high rise where they're having a final fight. It's dumb. Then it ends with him being to Frances McDormand being like, I don't think I'm the man who I once was. We can't be together. And then he runs away, puts on a new head, and then goes into a crowd. And then she can't find him. She's like going to different people and turning him around. And then it goes to a shot of a bunch of people walking away. And then you see, in a black trench coat, turns around the face of Bruce Campbell.
What? He puts on a Bruce Campbell face?
Yeah. It's just Bruce Campbell with a trench coat going...
Oh, no.
And running away.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, my God. It was so funny. I was crying. The ending made me laugh so hard. I had tears in my eyes. Turns out, I looked it up later.
Yeah, there's several sequels to this movie.
Yeah, none of them by Sam Raimi.
Wow, okay.
And none of them with Bruce Campbell or Liam Neeson in them.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's fun. But yeah, it was bizarre. I had a great time. I wouldn't suggest this movie for most audiences.
I think I'm gonna add it to my watch list.
That's honestly fine. I'm saying most audiences, and you are not that.
It's got some pretty high like average ratings. 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean,
89% on Google.
It does have some like interesting, loving respects to like old classic ghost movies and like Frankenstein, but like
that makes sense.
Still has its downfalls.
All right, we're gonna have to pause for a second. Well, here we go. Okay, well, there's a big pause in there. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, it's fine.
Somebody, my father came home from work, or not work, it's a Saturday, but he came home, so we're gonna relocate upstairs. Yeah. Because this is not a guest episode. Anyway, you were talking about the shadow?
The Dark Man?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. No, I basically said everything about it.
Okay.
I had a great time. I think you'd have a pretty good time. But I wouldn't suggest it for most people.
Cool.
Yep. I have 2 more things I need to talk about. Not that I've seen them, but things that are coming that I don't think I've brought up. Wait, I might have one more. So, first of all, there's this thing called The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard coming.
What?
The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Oh, is that a sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard?
It is.
Sick.
And they've officially confirmed Selma Hayek. Selma?
Yeah, Selma Hayek.
Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson, so the main 3.
Sweet.
Which, I had a good time with the last one.
The last one was... It's difficult to describe because it's not a great movie, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah. So, I'll watch the second one.
Sure. I mean, if I've got nothing better to do, sure, I'll go see it.
So, that's happening. Yeah. The second thing that I have to talk about is...
Oh, yeah.
Space Jam 2.
Yep. Interestingly enough, the guy who's directing it, I forget his name.
Terrence Nance.
He is an absolute no-name. Like, completely... When it comes to directing, look at his director credits.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bunch of stuff, but it's nothing that you've ever heard of.
His last feature film has, like... His latest, like, feature film that's not a short has, like, 10 ratings on IMDb or something like that. So, I have no clue how he's directing Space Jam 2. He must, like, somebody knows him and they're like, hey...
I guess.
I have no clue how it happened, but it is happening, so...
And this one is starring LeBron James.
Cool.
So there's that.
And, I'd assume it's just going to be like the first Space Jam. Just,
I mean, so far, it says LeBron James and several NBA All-Stars team up with Looney Tunes for a long-awaited sequel. That's all it says.
Sweet. So, it's going to be disappointing no matter what.
Probably.
It's not going to live up to the hype.
I mean, let's be honest. It wouldn't anyway because it's never going to match Michael Jordan, Wayne Knight, and Bill Murray.
Yeah, no, never.
Like, I can't imagine anybody else coming in and making that better.
No.
So
can't be done.
So, yeah. So that's happening. I'll watch it. Doesn't mean I'll love it, but I'll watch it. And then the last one that I have to talk about before we get into your movie of the week is Holmes and Watson. Have you heard about this?
No, it's a new Sherlock Holmes thing.
Yeah, coming out in November 9th, 2018, so soon.
Right around the corner.
You're going to love this. Guess who plays Holmes? Just take a wild guess.
Lucy Liu.
You're so close. Will Ferrell plays Holmes.
Excuse me?
Excuse you.
What?
Will Ferrell plays Holmes.
So is this like a comedy thing?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Guess who plays Watson?
Seth Rogen.
But this is good.
Oh.
Think of like a good Seth Rogen.
A good Seth Rogen. John C. Reilly.
You got it.
Yes. I knew it.
That's hilarious.
It just in my mind. Who's a good Seth Rogen? John C. Reilly.
I can't believe that worked.
Cool.
Wow. Guess who Moriarty is?
I don't know. I can't get it twice in a row.
No, that's fine. I wouldn't have either. Ralph Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes?
Sweet.
Ralph.
Rafe.
Ralph?
It's
Rafe?
pronounced Rafe.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Rafe.
dumb.
Rafe
I think we've
Fiennes.
talked about this. Yeah, but that's dumb.
Well,
So yeah, he's in it. Hugh Laurie is in it.
I used to call Ray Fiennes Ralph Fiennes, so
okay,
you know, Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, no, Hugh Laurie's in it.
Cool.
So yeah, this is happening. I don't have any other information on it, like any more information, but it's happening. I have very mixed feelings about this cast.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, John C. Reilly, I love John C. Reilly. It's a weird choice for Watson, but then again, not as weird as Will Ferrell as Sherlock Holmes. So
very true.
I don't know what to... Will Ferrell hasn't, like, done a movie in a while, right?
He did that movie with Amy Poehler.
But you're gonna have to be more specific.
The movie with Amy Poehler where they had a house, where they had a casino.
Oh, yeah. I
I don't know what it was called.
Me neither.
But that happened. I guess this kind of makes sense, though, because Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are buds. They do a lot of stuff together, or they have. But still, like, Sherlock Holmes does not look like a good fit for Will Ferrell. Just saying.
I mean, Ray Fiennes and Hugh Laurie are kind of, like, big selling points for me. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe.
And this is being done, all directed by Ethan Coen.
Ethan Coen?
E-T-A-N? Eaton?
Eaton. Huh.
Yeah. You know. That guy. The guy. This guy.
Okay.
This man.
I just assumed you meant one of the Coen brothers,
no,
but that is not one of the Coen brothers.
Definitely not.
Okay. For a second, I was excited. I was like, ooh.
No,
cool.
Eaton.
All right.
Not Ethan, Eaton.
Sick.
He did Get Hard.
Okay. All right. I guess we know what we're in for.
And he's done other things with Will Ferrell. That's about all there is about that. But it's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably see it. But it's very weird. And I really don't know what to think about it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I guess I now have, you know, AMC A-List Stubs membership, so I can just go see it whenever. So I might see it. I don't know, just to see how it is.
I might start that next month.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's happening.
Cool.
You want to talk about your movie of the week?
Well, I think you should first.
You think I should first?
Yeah. No, you should talk about your movie of the week first. Or did you already do it?
Oh, I didn't.
Right, yeah,
You're
I was
right.
going to say.
My bad.
Yeah.
My movie of the week is End of the Tour, the other A24 movie that we haven't talked about yet.
Sweet.
Which we will get more into in the A24 quest next week.
Cool.
It's good. I liked it a lot. That's all I'll say.
Glad we got that. Okay. So, this entire episode has been a diversionary tactic.
Yeah.
Right? It's been a farce.
Oh.
We're just trying to kill time because there's one thing we gotta talk about, and it is my movie of the week. It is a little known film called RoboCop, the 2014 remake.
Yeah.
This is quite possibly the best remake I have ever seen. Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
And that automatically boosted up at least 1 to 2 stars.
Haven't I seen this at your house before?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
You brought your copy over and we watched it at my house with my little brother, and then Samuel L. Jackson says shit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's my movie of the week.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Hope you enjoyed this episode.
It was good.
Yeah. Catch you on the flip side.
That's my line.
Well, I'm taking it.
I hate you. What? That's my line! I'm kind of upset about this. It's not okay.
Well, you should hit us with a "Hey there, demons, it's me, you boy."
Yeah,
just
but
to
I
even
didn't.
it out.
Maybe next time.
Okay, fair enough.
Alright.
Oh, before we go,
This is dumb.
There's this little film called Mandy.
This is dumb.
starring Nicolas Cage. And it's my real movie of the week. And
I hate you.
It changed my entire life.
No, it didn't. Shut up.
I feel like I see reality differently now.
No, you don't. You just see it in shades of bright red and bright blue.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Oh, my computer just froze because we started talking about Mandy.
Yeah, that's fair. If I was an electronic device, I'd freeze up and break down too if I had to talk about that.
Okay, so Mandy, I don't even know how one begins to discuss Mandy. I don't even... Well, okay, so Mandy's about Nicolas Cage
and his daily activities.
And his wife or significant other, who's played by that one lesbian girl from Birdman.
You know, Andrea Riseborough.
Yes. And they live in the woods. And then there's a crazy cult. And they summon motorcycle demons. And they take Andrea Riseborough.
What?
And they take Andrea Raz.
Excuse me?
And they take his wife.
God bless.
And I've talked about Beyond the Black Rainbow. That's the same director, guy, writer, man. Panos Cosmatos is his name.
Panthos Chrysanthemos.
Yeah. Panthos Charisma. Panther's Charisma.
I think that's the name of the cologne they used in Anchorman. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
And this movie is just kind of like defies discussion. I loved it. Alright, first of all. Beyond the Black Rainbow was fantastic, but you know, Mandy just completely blows it out of the water in every aspect. I don't know. How about you talk about it? Because I feel like all I'm going to say is just aimless gushing. And you actually wrote a full review of it.
I did, and my review is very unconclusive as well.
Okay.
But so this movie has mixed reviews across the board.
Understandably.
Just because of how it is.
Yeah.
Just how it's made.
Just because of the way it is.
Yeah, it's a birch. And so finishing your synopsis. So Mandy gets taken by these people. They summon motorcycle demons. Then Nicolas Cage is in his house. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Drugs are involved. They bring Mandy back to the house. They tie up Nicolas Cage. They hang Mandy in front of him and then burn her alive.
Yes.
And then they leave. Nicolas Cage then escapes from the bondage she was in and then goes on this crazy montage of getting ready to go murder everybody, and then an even crazier montage of him murdering everybody.
You're forgetting the best part of the movie, and that is the scene in which Nicolas Cage in a tiger t-shirt and his underwear screams in his bathroom and downs a bottle of vodka and pours it all over himself.
You're right. So that happened
and
too.
And he goes full Nicolas Cage, which is... I am so happy. I was kind of worried that he wouldn't go full Nicolas Cage, but he went full Nicolas Cage in this movie.
I mean, what else would he do in this movie? Like, why else would you have Nicolas Cage in this movie?
There's a certain sense of humor this movie has about its own existence, which is kind of interesting. In a certain sense, you can take it seriously as kind of an artistic movie, but on the other side of things, it's very much playing up the cheesy B-movie influences it has as well. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very self-aware in that aspect. And it's like, I mean, it's like just down to the casting of Nicolas Cage. It knows exactly what kind of movie it is.
Yeah, definitely. So that's essentially the entire plot synopsis. It's a revenge story that takes what, an hour and a half to lead up to the actual revenge part?
Well, yeah.
An hour or an hour and a half?
The movie is the way the movie's paced and the way the movie's laid out is very interesting because much like this is kind of how Beyond the Black Rainbow was as well. It's very slow for the first half.
Well,
it's very it's very like ethereal and very like it's just like him and his girl just like hanging out, just chilling out.
But what's interesting, at least to me, I didn't realize this movie was 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Because it feels like this movie is equal parts Nicolas Cage Rampage and equal parts this weird build-up ethereal crap. But it's not. Yeah. There's way more of that build-up. But it's done in this very interesting way where it makes it feel as if it's not slow. Like, I didn't feel like that first part was going that slowly.
No, not really. It's the shots are slow and very lingering, but the pace of things is actually somewhat quick, or at least it gives the illusion of being quick. But it is really, you spend like a whole hour without any craziness. It's just very subdued and very just atmospheric and like just like washy synths and just like beautiful visuals and just like surreal dreamlike sequences of like just them. And then it flips a switch and then Nicolas Cage goes on a horrific murder rampage, and it's kind of the coolest transition from relaxing to insane that I've seen in a long time. And it's the scene where it flips, I think, is when he goes to get the crossbow from that guy from Predator. You know, the guy that was in Predator. I forget his name. Bill Duke? Is that his name?
I don't know.
The dude, the guy.
I don't know.
He's been in a lot of movies. He goes to get the crossbow from that guy. First of all, you know, he gets a crossbow, so of course. But it's like at that point on, he's like it's a very different movie, but it still has that like surreal quality to it.
You remember when he forged a Klingon fighting blade?
I do. He forges an axe and he uses it to kill the cultists.
But it's like this really dope looking alien axe.
Yeah.
With like a spike on the end of it.
This movie is so rad. A lot of people called it like heavy metal incarnate, like it's just like the most metal thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I guess I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Especially that last half, it's like just the embodiment of metal music.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy.
You remember the chainsaw fight?
Yeah.
Where the two people had chainsaws and
yeah,
they fought?
Yeah, no, it reminded me of the Schwartz scene from Spaceballs.
Never saw it.
Okay, there's a scene in Spaceballs where the hero the hero pulls out his Schwartz, which is a lightsaber, and he holds it right by his crotch region, and it comes out, and then the Darth Vader character gets his out, and like they're like about as big as each other, and then the Darth Vader character says, "I see your Schwartz is as big as mine." And that's what the chainsaw fight reminded me of, because Nicolas Cage picks up a chainsaw, and then the other guy gets a slightly bigger chainsaw out, or not even slightly bigger,
no, it's
just like
huge.
just a massive chainsaw out, and it's just a big chainsaw measuring competition.
See, that almost sounded like a build up to like a Family Guy joke.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And it's
But yeah, no, this movie's nuts. I wouldn't suggest. So this movie has me in the same place as
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Killing of a Sacred Deer, but for much different reasons.
Yeah.
It's not watchable by everybody. I appreciate.
Certainly not.
Certainly.
I'll put it this way. It is a horror movie, technically.
I guess, yeah. I didn't think about that until now.
If you are the kind of person who either really wants to go see The Nun, or if you really went to see The Nun and you really liked it, this movie is not for you. Because this is the kind of This is not the horror that you would enjoy. This is the kind of
fever dream,
psychedelic, psychological
nonsense.
Yeah, it's like a nightmare. It's not a scary nun. It's the horrors of human depravity, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Don't take that as it doesn't have nightmare creatures, because it does.
Yes.
But those aren't the scary parts.
Right.
Like those are funny almost.
Yeah.
In comparison to the rest of this movie, like.
Yeah, they're just cheesy and ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie's quite frightening, but not in a The Conjuring kind of way. It's more of just a uncomfortable movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst parts for me were the animated bits. They have animated segments put in between, like, during dream sequences, or like in between chapters, because there's actual chapters in this movie. Yeah. And those were the worst parts for me, as far as like actual,
like, freaking you out.
Yeah, because anything can happen in animated sequences, and a lot of weird crap happened in those animated sequences.
I will say, even though this movie, I don't think it ever got genuinely scary. There was a very, like, the first animated sequence that happens, like, right after he freaks out about his wife's death. That was very disturbing.
Very insane.
And I was like, oh, ugh. That's, like, actually scary. So, yeah.
I mean, this movie does a really good job making you uncomfortable. There's a scene with a wasp where they forcefully make it sting somebody.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That was awful.
There's so many horrific things that happen in this movie that you forget about all of them, and then they come back to you, and it's like, ugh. It's kind of like Hereditary in that sense.
Yeah, I might be rewatching Hereditary soon, actually, too.
Yeah, well, Movie Club's Halloween month is coming soon, and I will guarantee you that Hereditary is getting shown.
If it doesn't, I'd be very surprised.
I mean, yeah, there's like so many people that want it to be shown, so.
Yeah. So yeah. Not that I'm like for that, but I'm definitely not against it. Like, once again, horrible mixed feelings about that movie.
Yeah.
We have to do that for A24 Quest eventually too.
Yep. Here's what we're gonna do.
We're not doing those two in the same week.
Hereditary.
We are not doing those two.
Killing of the Sacred Deer.
We are not doing those two in the same week.
Okay.
That's not happening.
Okay, fine.
That's not a week I want to live through.
Alright.
Or I would live through, I should say.
If we did those two, it would literally kill you.
It might, yeah.
See, I really want to see those as a double feature now.
Oh my god,
and then
that would be just
feel
awful.
And then just sit there and just feel horrible after going through it.
Yeah, you would too.
You just feel just completely defeated.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, but bringing it back to Mandy, like I said, very conflicting opinions about this, and inside me alone.
Yeah.
This movie was beautiful, very, very well shot. It was interesting, which I kind of find hard to say because of how much of this movie was just kind of nonsense, pretty shots with weird flares and bizarre colors just floating around. And I'm not kidding. That's literally what the first half of this movie is. But it was interesting. Like, there was an actual story, and it actually was followable, which is good. That's what I need in a movie most of the time, is a story, and it's followable.
Yeah, it is interesting. With all the weird, surreal imagery, you're never at all confused as to what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. There are movies I've seen where it does the surreal imagery and you just have no clue what's going on. But in this one, it's like you know what it's supposed to represent, and you know what's happening. I think the reason you never get lost is it's a very simple story.
Yeah.
So it's like everything's in service of this very simple premise, so it's never confusing.
Yeah.
And it's like, for a movie as out there and experimental as this is, I actually think the simple premise does it a lot of justice. And,
Yeah,
it's a very good thing they didn't make it super complicated and confusing.
Yeah, well, and I think,
So it's a mood piece.
Simple things aren't given enough credit. Like, people are always trying to make projects big and complex and super in-depth and interesting because that's what got popular back in the day. Like, simple things were outplayed, but nowadays we're getting into an era where everything has to be big, over the top, and trying to outplay the last thing. And I think it's overrated.
And Mandy exists in its own little universe and then completely unaffected by movie conventions and trends.
Definitely.
Which is what drew me to Panos Cosmatos in the first place, because he's got this wonderful, weird style that I absolutely respect. And yeah, no, if you like me love a good surreal art piece which happens to feature extreme gore and Nicolas Cage screaming, this is the movie for you, and it's a must see in this genre. And I think it going forward, it's gonna be a absolute favorite movie of mine because I adored it.
Yeah,
it's like everything I love about film.
And I still can't give it a rating.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to.
That's fair.
I can't justify giving it a rating to myself or for anybody else. It just is.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I gave it a 5-star rating because I didn't feel comfortable giving it anything other than that,
and that's fair.
All I could say was just I loved it, but I can't explain why I loved it, so I'm just gonna hit it with that 5-star and not look back.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I totally get that. I can't justify giving that movie 5 stars and then having somebody see that and then going and watching that movie.
And they're like, what?
Yeah.
See, the funny is, we watched it with your brother, and, I don't know anything about your brother's movie taste, but I do know that he's, younger than us, and I was worried in the first hour that it was gonna be, really boring, but at a certain point, I felt like it was fine.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're not at all captivated by beautiful visuals and beautiful lighting choices, then you may find this pretty boring until the murder starts up. But if you love visuals, then that's a real treat. So
yeah, this movie is definitely something else. It's definitely worth watching. Even if you don't like this kind of stuff, if you have 2 hours in a day to kill and you have nothing better to do, I would say it's worth just to experience it.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre and so different that even if it's not good to your standards, that it may be worth watching anyway, just so you know why you don't like it.
Right.
I think this movie has a lot of things going for it. And being outside of normality is definitely one of them. And being as simple but as complex as it needed to be in its own respects, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think you really hit on something there. About this movie having this simple premise and it's suiting it well. I think more things should.
Yeah, it's there's this thing that I feel like if one were to, I don't know if I've seen reviews saying this, but I imagine they'd exist. I feel like there's this attitude that, like you said, movies have to be complicated. I feel like I can totally visualize somebody reviewing this movie and saying, its one drawback was that the plot was very simple, and it's I feel like everyone automatically assumes a bare bones plot is just a bad thing now. But this is an example of utilizing a bare bones plot very, very well. It does this one thing, and that's just all the movie does. But it's so focused and so well made that it doesn't need to be more complicated. In fact, it would be harmed by being more complicated than it is.
I think, though, this could be spread to a lot of different things, like music.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of music today that has been worked on hours and hours in studio and just crafted to be the perfect next pop hit, but in the end, I still like listening to indie bands.
Yeah.
You know, bands that just have guitar, bass, drums, you know, simple riffs, and then this great, you know, singing with it, you know? And I think, you know, we are just kind of in an age where
everything has to be bigger and better.
Yeah. And I think it's actually starting to become more and more clear that that's not true.
Right, exactly.
You know?
It's not the size that counts, it's what you do with it.
Oh my god.
To tie it all together.
Oh my god. To tie it all together? No.
That's the point we're trying to get across.
Oh my god. Wow. So that's how we're gonna end this podcast, huh? It's not the size, it's what you do with. That's how we're gonna end it.
We're having one of the most thoughtful film discussions we've had in a long time, and we just gotta end it with a good old dick joke.
I mean, that wasn't my plan, but alright.
No, okay, fair enough. That's just me.
Wow.
Whenever I see something good in my life, I'm like, how can I ruin this?
Well, congratulations, you did it.
Alright.
You did a good job.
Great.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, Mandy, I'm gonna actually go ahead and say highly recommended. If you have an open mind and you're willing to see something different.
I'd say if you consider yourself a film buff and you like movies a lot and you enjoy seeing different things, not that you'll enjoy the movie, but just to enjoy what it does and how it does it, I think is worth the watch. If you're not a film buff and you go see, you know, Han Solo when it's out in theaters and you haven't seen a movie since I don't know, Star Wars came out last winter, maybe it's not for you.
Maybe not. Yeah, it really is. It's like I would say watch the trailer, and if it intrigues you, then check it out.
That's very fair.
If you're like, this looks weird and I don't think I like it, you won't like the movie because the trailer is a pretty decent representation of what the movie is.
I'd say so.
So yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.